last year, I lost my apocalypse partner. Does everybody have one of these?
No.
You need to get one. It's not somebody you're with right now. It's somebody that you're with in the future when everything goes to shit. And so you team up with them, they've got the supplies, they've got the skills, you know. Yeah, I lost him. He was supposed to stick around. He was supposed to suffer through the next like 20 to 30 years with me until the apocalypse happened, actually. When do you guys think it's gonna happen?
Tuesday.
Yeah. It's real. It's like happening now. It's happening now. But yeah, he was the perfect. His name was Sean, and he was the perfect apocalypse partner. He was handy and helpful, and he helped me move into my first apartment after getting divorced. He helped me build IKEA furniture and install a cabinet in my first house. He would take care of my cats when I was out of town and do my dishes for me. He cooked because I fucking quit cooking during my marriage. I was like, fuck this shit, I'm never cooking again. And he, I hate to say this in front of his mother who is here tonight, but he was a fantastic lover. The first night that we spent together, have you guys ever seen the movie Zoolander? And there's that scene where Matilda and Derek and Hansel are having a threesome, but then it turns into like a foursome and a fivesome with like a Tibetan monk and a midget and stuff. Yeah, that's sort of what it felt like to have sex with Sean. It was a wild time. It was a wild time. Those are some really important qualities in an apocalypse partner for me. This is actually one of my favorite stories that someone told me about Sean. He was like, this is the bartender that worked at the bar that I did my show at, and Sean was basically the bouncer. Like he would stand up at the front of the bar, and if anybody started heckling us because they were either too drunk or too stupid, he would be like, shut up, So the bartender told me this story. He said, one time Sean was at this bar, and he went out to the patio where everybody was smoking, and he just yelled, I fuck like a mongoose, and then went right back into the bar. And I like that story about Sean because it really just exemplifies like his need to be the center of attention, but also not giving a fuck at all, So, and that was one of the qualities that like really made me attracted to him. And and we had shit tons in common. I mean, like from our sense of humor to, our philosophical, there's the word, and religious and everything and music, that was like my favorite thing about him really, was that he loved music as much as I loved music. And I can't, there's nobody else that loves music as much as I do. Okay, I have a record collection that's like 1,500 records in my tiny little house. It's a very, very, very small house, but it's filled with records. We had very similar tastes in music. We loved all the same bands, like Viagra Boys and Amyl and the Sniffers and Idols and Metric and Father John Misty and all these artists. And so he was just like, we were just there, and he didn't judge me and I didn't judge him. That's what I loved about it. Like, no, there was no judgment. We could tell each other anything we thought, anything that had happened in our lives. We would just tell each other stories all night long. And, you know, things were good. He was the first guy that I met on Tinder after my divorce. But I was like, I can't just settle down with you right away. Come on. I was married for 17 years, you know. So I gotta see what else is out there, you know. And so then, like 6 months later, we're still hanging out. Like I'm seeing other people, but we're still, seeing each other as well. And eventually, I'm just like, you know what? You're sort of like my go-to person, like for like karaoke and just hanging out, going out to restaurants, going to shows. Like he would just say yes. Like we, I think we'd gone on like 2 or 3 dates, and I was like, I want to go see Carolyn Rose in Milwaukee. Do you want to come with me? And he was like, yes. And I was like, that's the kind of person that I need in my life, you know? And so I struck a deal with him. I was like, okay, it's 2023, 24, this is a couple years ago. It's 2023, you know, there's this whole thing called like polyamory and non-monogamy and open relationships and stuff like that. Like, can we just sort of do that? Like we'll be in a relationship, but also I fuck other people? Is that cool? You know? So he didn't love it. But, just the fact that he was open to it and like willing to give that to me was enough. And I will say, I only fucked 2 dudes in the year and a half period. Okay? I think that's pretty good. You would think that is what broke us up. Twist. That is not what broke us up. What broke us up was communication about boundaries and expectations. Say it with me. like it's just, you gotta communicate. You gotta over communicate. That's like the problem, and people under communicate, people miscommunicate, and I'm just gonna say also, I drank a lot. That didn't help things. I'm not gonna blame all my assholery on the drinking, but it definitely helped. I'm still an asshole, trust you. Trust you me. Just not as big of one as I used to be. So we got into these 3 fights. They were just so stupid. They were about dinner and time and people meeting up when we're supposed to, and people going to people's house when they're supposed to. And it's just like really stupid fights, but they turned into like these angry, it turned into me being angry about, what I expected about being in a relationship with someone, and, I was a fucking asshole, as I said. So I'm not defending any of my behavior, but he basically, after 3 fights, he was like, I'm done with you. Like, I'm done with, like, I don't care how good we are together. Like, I'm not gonna deal with your fucking bullshit anymore. And I'm like, why not? Like, isn't the bullshit worth it? Isn't it? No, it's not. Okay. But so I begged him not to leave. I begged him. But he was like, I'm not leaving you. I'm still gonna be here for you. I'm just not gonna be in a romantic relationship with you. And, I respected that. I thought that was, everybody has to do what they need to do. And he did. And we did stay in each other's lives for the 3 months after we broke up. But then he went to the hospital, and he had to have an emergency surgery. And when I went to visit him in the hospital, we had a really good talk. He realized that, maybe he needed to change some of his lifestyle, like maybe he needed to quit smoking, maybe he needed to quit drinking, I needed to quit drinking, we're gonna eat healthier, and we started talking about like the future and what we could have together again. And after 10 days in the hospital, thinking that he was gonna pull through, they said that he was doing great. He had to have another surgery, but they said that he was doing great. He got out of the hospital, he went home to the care of his mother, and then a week later I got a phone call, the worst phone call that I ever got in my life. And it was a strange woman's voice on the phone who said, Sean's dead. And I screamed, and I threw the phone, and everything changed after that for me. Like everything was before Sean died and after Sean died. And let's just say I didn't cope very well. Yes, I wasn't drinking, but I was using sex and men as a Band-Aid to cover up the feelings that I was having of being like just fucking hit in the chest with a brick, knowing that this person is not gonna be there anymore. And I thought that I could, because I'm poly, I thought that I could date people while grieving my dead friend. You don't do that. That's bad. Don't do that. And it took me a while, because I felt like I was trying to replace him, but I wasn't. You couldn't. It's impossible. But like, I just needed to cover it up, like the pain. I had to cover it up with something else, like another feeling. So I just kept chasing all the other feelings that I could find. And I mean, I'd give anything for Sean to not have died. I'd give anything. I know that's not how it works, but I am grateful to him for helping me figure out what I actually do want what I actually do want in a partner, whether or not it's the apocalypse or not. And you know, I feel like he prepared me for if I do ever find love again, that I'll know what to do with it this time. Thanks.